Hello guys and welcome to PWIRD. This is Sherry. I hope that you're all well and welcome over. Please share out, let people know that I am on. I have just done that. Hope that you're all very well. So today's company topic stream, an educational stream, is about Ouija boards and Divi boxes, guys. Now, I recently noticed a few posts where people had been speaking about Divi boxes, Ouija boards and things. So I thought that it would be really good for the company to cover the subjects of both of these items. So I'd been gathering some information together to share with you guys. So that's what I'm going to do. So I will be reading from some stuff. But I hope that this helps you to understand a little bit more about both of these haunted objects. Now, first, obviously, the Ouija board is known as a spirit box or the Ouija board is known as a spirit board or a speaking board, which is where people can communicate with the dead, those that have deceased. A lot believe that the Ouija board is a way of communicating with their loved ones or people that have passed over. But in some circumstances, the Ouija board has been brought to light to be a lot more sinister. So I very much believe that you can communicate with both sides of the spirit world with the Ouija board, but it is most definitely an object that I do not like to play with or mess with. I do have an Ouija board under my bed that was brought by an ex-partner, and I've kept hold of it for safety reasons. So I don't mind presenting that to you, showing you what a real Ouija board looks like. It's never been used, and it's had stuff done over it so that it can't do anything. So I will show you that a little bit later in the show. Then obviously you've got our Divi boxes. Now, Divi boxes are supposed to be special boxes that hold the belongings of people that have passed over. So anything from fingernail clippings to hair to sentimental bits that belonged to people's loved ones that have passed over. Now, it's believed that a lot of the Divi boxes have some sort of curse or some sort of hold over it, so that if anybody goes into that box, they will face their circumstances for opening it, because it's meant to be a secret and a private box. In this, just like the Ouija board, it's also known to be experienced as being negative, having sinister energies connected to it. This can be anything from dark rituals to curses. This could be bindings and things that are put over the box from loved ones that have lost loved ones as well, because they're not wanting anybody to be able to go into that. There is many controversial facts behind the Divi box and behind the Ouija board. Now, a lot of people are very controversial on both of these objects. Some believe in them, some of them don't. Sadly, in both items, there are people that portray themselves as it being real when it isn't. Sometimes, sometimes they can be very false and fake in what they do and pretend that these objects are doing what they do, even to the point of, even with the Divi boxes, selling them over on internet sites and stuff, saying that, they're haunted and they've got attachments, when a lot of them end up not having that at all. But do not mistake me, guys, because it does not mean that all of the Ouija boards that people use and all of the Divi boxes that people use are fake. Some of these items do have energies attached to them that are not good, and some that are not so bad, I guess. This varies. There's good and bad in everything. But as I said, there is a lot of talk behind the Ouija boards and Divi boxes that they're quite a negative object to use. You get a lot of energies that come through that are not good and can be potentially very dangerous. So what I want to do is go on to speaking to you guys in a little bit more detail about these objects. That's good, Hatchie, and hello, Mike, UFO Man, Tommy, how are you all? And thank you for the lovely compliments as well. That is very much appreciated. So if I just start by talking to you about the Divi Boxes first, and then we'll go into the Ouija board last. So I'm just going to read you some article bits that I have got. So the Divi box, or the Dybbuk box, is controversially known as a Hebrew sort of item, which is known as the Kufsat Dybbuk, which is also obviously Divi box. Is said to be a wine cabinet which is said to be haunted by a Dybbuk. In Jewish folklore, a Dybbuk is a restless, usually malicious spirit, believed to be able to haunt and even possess the living. The box achieved recommendation when it was auctioned on eBay with an accompanying horror story, and it is the original inspiration of the 2012 film The Possession: Legend of History. The term Divi box was first used by Kevin Manis as a description in the item information for an eBay auction to describe it as the subject of an original story, not the story for the film, detailing supposedly true events which he considered to be relevant to the box. Manis, a writer and creator, professional by trade, owned a small antiques and furniture refinishing his business in Portland, Oregon at the time. According to the Manis story, he bought the box as an estate sale in 2001. It had belonged to a Holocaust survivor of Polish origin named Havela, who had escaped to Spain prior to her immigration to the United States. Havela purposely selected a Divi box inside the box after it contacted her and her friend while performing a sense with a homemade oracle board. And opening the box, Manis found that is contained two 1920s pennies, a lock of blonde hair bound with cord, a lock of black-brown hair bound with cord, a small statue engraved with the Hebrew word shalom, one drained rose bud, and a single candle holder with four octopus-shaped legs, and a small golden wine goblet, all items supposedly used in Jewish folklore to exorcise demons. Numerous owners of the box have reported that strange phenomena accompanied it. In his history, Manis claimed he experienced a series of horrific nightmares shared with other people while they were in possession of the box or when they stayed at his home. While he had it, his mother suffered a stroke on the same day he gave her the box as a birthday present. October the 28th, every owner of the box had reported that it smells of cat urine or jasmine flowers, and nightmares involving an old hag accompanied the box. Jason Haxton, director of the Museum of Osteopathic Medicine in Kirksville, Missouri, had been following blogs regarding the box and bought it. Hoxton wrote the Divi box and claimed that he subsequently developed strange health problems, including hives, coughing up blood, and head-to-toe welts. His wife experienced bloody weeping blisters after coming in contact with clothing he wore during a failed containment attempt. His office also experienced the bursting of light bulbs upon removal of the box from the museum. Haxton had locked the box in the back of his truck, parking it at his home. In the evening, Hoax experienced nightmares of hag-like women, not unlike Manis's claims. The final straw, Hax claimed, happened while he and his son were watching television, and his son noticed a black flame-like mass in the room with them. Hoxton consulted with rabbis to try to figure out a way to seal the Dybbuk in the box. Again, apparently successfully, he took the freshly resealed box and hid it at a secret location which he will not reveal. Skeptics Chris French, head of the Anomalistic Physiology Research Unit at Goldsmith College, told an interviewer he believed that the box owners were already primed to be looking out for bad stuff. If you believe you have been cursed, then inevitably you would explain the bad stuff that happens in terms of what you perceive to be the curse. Put in like this, I would be happy to own. So this was a little article about certain people that had gone and become in, the possession of this box. They had a number of weird paranormal phenomena. They were seeing a very dark mass. They were getting some very, very unpleasant experiences along with dreams. Obviously, in this story as well, there was a lot of negativity. A lot of people did not believe in it, but these people that were going through these experiences to this very day still say that it was very true and very real. Now, the Divi Boxes, in my opinion, is a dangerous object to be around, and I do believe that it can result negative energy. I do believe that it is more negative energy that is attached to these boxes than it is of good, but I do believe that some of them do have good energy to them. I've found through research and studying that a lot of these boxes are cursed. They do have really bad attachments to them. Some of these attachments are very, very dangerous, and people have very badly experienced very dangerous experiences with them, resulting in illness and accidents, sometimes even death. So for me, the Divi box is most definitely as a piece of item that I would never ever want to come into contact with. I know as an investigator there is a possibility that in one place there may be. Now, a lot of people think that it's certain boxes. It could be any box. It's a box that you can fasten up and hide away. Anyone can make a Divi box, but it's all about your intentions. If you make a box and you put your belongings in and it's in good intention, it'll be in good intention. But some of these people may have made these boxes for their loved ones, but through something that bad has happened to them. So that intention of anger and sadness has gone into that. Obviously, the spirit, their self, what they've gone through, they can change in their appearance, their way, and how they act, which can make things very negative. And then, as I said, satanic spirit, something that is not of the living, something that is demonic or evil can be attached to that. This, like I said, can go through curses, rituals, summonsings, all sorts of things that can be attached to making this Divi box very, very dangerous. Now, there are people out there that do authentically sell real haunted Divi boxes, but there are people out there that portray something to being haunted when it isn't. So you do have to be really careful. And some people, you know, will go beyond scale to get what they want. With these sort of objects, but you know, Divi boxes, you do need to be careful when you're looking into them, and that you don't know what you're picking up. And for me personally, the reason I don't like them, I would never pick up a box that I don't understand or know and bring it home with me, because you don't know what people's intentions are. You don't know what is attached to it, and that could be very dangerous for you, for your family. You know, there is a lot of controversial now at the minute that a lot of people are saying that, you know, these boxes are fake, they're not real. You know, there is nothing negative attached to them. It's just people making made up stories. I 100% don't believe in that at all. I do believe that some of these boxes are very dangerous, and I believe that they are very powerful. And, you know, there has been people that have had experiences, and you know, I've seen stories, I've seen research, and I do believe in some of these people's stories. Some is a little bit more far-fetched, but I've noticed in the research and in what I've looked at that a lot of the stories are very similar, like about the way that the spirit is, or the energies that they feel, and the activity that they're experiencing in and around this box. Okay, now I'm not just talking about one individual box. There is not one Divi box. There are many. There are hundreds and thousands of different Divi boxes, different sizes, colors, all for different meanings. Like I said, not all of them are for negative use, but a lot of them have been put that way, and not always intentionally either. Just, you know, because it's secret and because it's hidden. It's because it's somebody's items, somebody that's passed away. Sometimes that energy, if it's been opened and it's their life and their experiences have been disrespected by you trying to break into who they used to be, this can change an energy as well. As I said, you don't need to be a demonic spirit to be angered, to be dangerous, or to be evil. Okay, this can be normal spirit as well. So that's the first part of the Divi box that I wanted to speak to you about. So I'm just going to take you in to the next part. In Jewish mythology, a Dybbuk, a Yiddish, from the Hebrew verb meaning adhere or cling, is a malicious possessing spirit believed to be disclothed souls of the dead person. It supposedly leaves the host's body once it has accomplished its goal, sometimes after being exorcised, which is meaning having an exorcism, guys. Etymology. Dybbuk is the abbreviation of a cleavage of an evil spirit, or a min han hahism. Dybbuk from the outside, which is found in man. Dybbuk comes from the Hebrew word evil, which means the act of sticking, and is an nominal form derived from the verb to adhere or cling. The history of the Divi box. The term first appeared in a number of 16th century writings, though it was ignored by mainstream scholarships until S. Ansgai played the Dybbuk, popularized the concept of literary circles. Earlier accounts of possession, such as that given by Joseph, were of demonic possession rather than that of ghosts. These accounts advocated authenticity among the populace as a preventive measure. For example, it was suggested that a sloppy made zedua or entertaining doubt about Moses' crossing of the Red Sea opened one's household to the Dybbuk possession. Very precise details of names and locations have been included in the accounts of the Dybbuk possession. Robbie Yol Telbubum, the Satmar Reb, 1887 to 1979, is reported to have supposedly advanced an individual said to be possessed to consult a physicist. Traditionally, the Divi tended to be male spirit who possessed women on the eve of their wedding, typically in a sexual fashion, by entering the woman through their vaginas, which is seen in Ankersley play. Ankersley's play is a significant work of Yiddish theatre and has been adapted a number of times by writers, composers and other creators, including Jeremiah Robbins and Leonard Bernstein and Tony Kushner. In the play, a young bride is possessed by the ghost of the man she was meant to marry, had her father not broken a marriage agreement. There are other forms of soul's transformations in Jewish mythology, in contrast to the Dybbuk, the Ibya, meaning impregnation. It's a positive possession which happens when a righteous soul temporarily possesses a body. This is always done with constant consent so that the soul can perform a Milville or the Gilgal Hebrew, literally rolling, puts forth the idea that the soul must live through many lives before it gains the wisdom to regain with God. In the physiology literature, the Divi has been described as historical syndrome. In popular cultures, Michael Westman's of 1937 film The Dybbuk, based on the Yiddish play by St. S. Ansgai, is considered one of the classics of the Yiddish filmmaking. In Love and Death, Woody Allen, 1975. Center of a Russian literature, Boris Allen flirts with a Countess Alexandrova, who is attending an opera with her lover Anton. Inovov Librico, Harold Gold. When the Countess says to Boris, "You must visit me for tea, I'm sure we'd have a lot to talk about," Boris says, "What about the Dybbuk?" In 1997, Christopher Guest filmed Waiting for Guffman. Dentist Alan Pearl discussed his family history and show business. I think I've got an entertaining bug from my grandmother. Jane Perlow, who was very, very big in the Unish theatre back in New York. He was in the very the sardonically irrelevant Divi Box Shimbuk. I said more ham, and then revealed that I believe was 1914 that the revenue was what made him famous. Identically, the song Bubby made a kitchen come from the revenue. The Dybbuk was featured in a main archaeologist in the horror film The Unborn, 2009, The Possession, 2012, and The Ezra. A serious man opens with a parable about a couple who suspected that the rabbi they were housing for dinner is a Dybbuk. Marching Ronga's Demons is the story of a groom possessed by a Dybbuk the night before his wedding. The Malayalam film Ezra 2017 reveals around a Dybbuk box with references to Kabbalist tradition and occultism in the film Dust. 2018. The protagonist is suspected by his children to be possessed by the Dybbuk. The Dybbuk was also the main antagonist in the short film Dybbuk, 2009, directed by Dayan D. Quillid. The film details with an exorcism within the parish Jewish community. The Dybbuk possesses a recliner in the comedy horror film Killer Sofa, 2009, which causes it to commit murders. Music. In March 2020, the horror punk band Voice of Doom released the song Dybbuk on the album Horror Punks USA Quarantine Complications 2020, Volume 1. So in a lot of these as well, there's been a lot of films done out on Divi Boxes and on what they are. The Dybbuk is also obviously is a negative energy that is said to possess either the male or the female before the night before their wedding. It's meant to be an energy that's very negative and possesses the person to take control of their body, to portray very negative things over the family and over the world, obviously. This energy is not a good energy that is connected to the Divi box. And, you know, if you come into contact with that sort of spirit, it is very dangerous. It's very malicious. As I've said in the previous work that I've just read out to you, you know, that it can be both good and bad. But there is a lot of stories where people talk about Divi boxes not being of a positive way. It's all very negative, and there's very negative things that happen. Possessions, people being taken over, as I said, you know, things such as deaths and illnesses and so on. So, you know, for me, the Divi box is not a joke, and it can be very dangerous. Now, I'm kind of just reading you out articles and things so that you can kind of get an idea. So the next one, so in this one, this is more of a detailed information on the Divi box, and I'm just going to read this to you. In the installment of my column, we're going to focus on an item that I have waited to write about for some time, the Divi box. As luck would have it, this is another one of the big 4 haunted objects in Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum. This allegedly haunted object first appeared in pop culture in 2003. eBay auctions from Kevin Manis, a professional writer and recording artist from the Pacific Northwest Bro Jam, 2018. In his eBay description, Manis claimed to have acquired the box through to be a wine cabinet at a 2001 estate sale. He proceeded to spin a tale of a paranormal experience that virals many horror films and seemed disdained from the big screen itself, which it eventually did. The backstory is much too long for the scope of the article, so I'll give you the Cliff Notes version. Manis claimed to have purchased the box at the estate sale of a 103-year-old Polish woman who, after growing up and raising a family, was sent to a Nazi concentration camp. Her entire family and parents, brothers and sisters, husband, 2 sons and a daughter were killed. She escaped with some other prisoners and somehow made it to Spain, where she acquired the wine cabinet. The granddaughter of the woman noticed that Manis had purchased the box and related the history behind it and how it was always called a Dybbuk or the Dybbuk box. Wait, if the original woman's entire family was killed, where did a granddaughter come from? The granddaughter also stated she and her siblings were always told it was to never ever be opened. Of course, Manis opened it once he got it home. I would to aside the box. He found several items: a 1928 US wheat penny, a 1925 US wheat penny, one small lock of blonde hair, one small lock of black brown hair, a granite statue engraved and gilded with the Hebrew word Salam, one drained out rosebud, one golden goblet, and a very strange black candlestick holder with the legs of an octopus. It didn't take long for all sorts of Hollywood horror antics to manifest, including apparitions, people getting sick, and even causing strokes. For a full description of these events, visit the website in the reference below, Manis 2019. So what is the Divi Box? According to the Jewish Virtual Library, the Jewish folklore and popular believe it's an evil spirit which enters into the living person, cleaves to his soul, causing mental illness, talks through his mouth, and represents a separate and alien personality. It's called a Dybbuk. The terms appear neither in Talmudic literature nor in the Kabbalah, where the phenomena is always called evil spirit. The JVL 2018, I also consulted my Jewish encyclopedia from 1966, Herb Addison, in Kabbalistic folklore, the soul of sinner, which after his death transmigrates into the body of the living person, Ruth 1966. A search of various medias revealed the play of the S.N.K. title Dybbuk, written between 1913 and 1916, making its stage debut in 1920. The play was adapted into a motion picture in 1937. The idea of trapping this spirit inside a box was never brought up. Brian Dunning, in an episode of his Skeptoids podcast, points out the word Dybbuk comes from the Hebrew verb of cling. So a Dybbuk is specifically a soul who clings to another. However, in the folklore literature, is there presented for a Dybbuk inhabiting a box or other inhabitant objects. During 2014, my own search also did not find any mention of these spirits of folklore ever being trapped in a Dybbuk until Manis 2019's eBay audition. The eBay auction was won by the Mississippi student named Losif Niskura, username Spasmalolik, for 140 after claiming the box did all kinds of horrible things to him. Nizik relisted the box on eBay 8 months later. The winning bidder was Jason Haxton, the museum director of the Museum of Authentic Medicine at A.T. Still University in Missouri. Username Agtron. In an interview Haxton gave it 2012, we find out Haxton learned of the box through one of his students, the roommate of Nekeski. Campbell, 2012. Haxton eventually purchased the Divi box and wrote a book detailing all of the Hollywood horror style experiences he claimed to have had happen to him. Bloody eyes, choking on water, full body welts and hives, and so on. Eventually, the entire story found its way to Hollywood and inspired the film Possession, produced by Sam Raimi. I learned that in 2016, Haxton donated the box to Zach Bagans, star of the TV show Ghost Adventures. The Divi box was put on display in his haunted museum, surrounded by more than a grain of salt and under a protective case. Bagans, 2016. This is where I saw it up close during my visit in October of 2018. See my review of this not so haunted museum, Dybbuk 2018. I'm not going to focus on the paranormal claims associated with the box from the various owners because that would be fruitless in that vendor. There is simple no physical evidence of the claim to examine, just antidotes that amount to doing nothing in the way of the objective evidence implying that the Divi box as a curse. What I do and plan on focusing on here is the question of whether the Dybbuk box was fabricated, attempted to earn some extra money cash, and eventually become a paranormal pop culture icon. When I began researching the history of the box, it appeared that Haxton was the driving force behind the box becoming popular in the paranormal community. Although Manis was the first to write about it, his eBay auction never reached the virtual statue, and the seller's hope for Haxton published a book in 2011 entitled The Dybbuk Box, which reached a much wider audience and solidified the object placed in the paranormal lore. This book straddles into the line between it's haunted and it's a hoax, never making a final decision and invoking the trite, open-ended methods of let the reader decide. I'm not a fan of such approaches, so I took a closer look at Haxton's time owning the box. On a website dedicated to recording the various traditions of folklore surrounding the Kirksville area, best known for being the home of Truman State University and the A2 Still University, I found the Divi box in a featured story. Before I read the story, there was something that caught my attention, a photograph at the head of the page of his not one, but the two identified Divi boxes. When I went to click on the image, text popped up over a photograph stating that the real Divi box on the left, on the right is a replica photo by Jason Hoxt. The image only showed us the back of the box, in which both had the Hebrew prayer carved into the wood. However, we could plainly see that Hexton had found and or fabricated duplicates from 3 of the larger items that were inside the box. The granite table with Salem engraved on it, the golden goblet, and the candlestick holder with the octopus legs. The story of the website stated that Hoax buried the box somewhere on his property and claimed in his book that he won't tell anyone its true location until he dies, and keeps a replica for media purposes. In 2016, I ordered Hexton's book to read about his side of the story and confirmed the claim he had buried it on his property. The last location he mentioned the Dybbuk box being stored appears on page 146. I shut the door of the art selling the Divi box within a carted the whole thing to the attic. I found no mention in the book of him buying the box except for the idea of having it buried with him when he died. However, on the episode of Deadly Possession, Hexton does state he had buried the box on his property. Go and lay down. I was a bit upset with myself for not knowing there was a duplicate before I visited Bagan's museum. The photo of the 2 boxes said side by side showed an obvious difference in the wood grain on the back of the boxes. If I had known this, I could have figured out if this was the original or the replica. However, something else immediately caught my attention. The grain tablet. 2 distant features stood out. The shape of each rear granite slab on the left side, which was different from the other, and the unique patterns of the granite were very different. My next step was to check the episode of The Deadly Possession in which Jason Hexton presents Zach Bagans with the famous box, donating it to the museum. I wanted to see if there were any shots or any contents and or the back of the box to determine whether this was real, if this was a real box or the replica. Deadly Possession 2016, although I could not get a clear view of the back, they did have several cut scenes showing the front of the box as well as some of the contents, which included the granite table. It was easily to see the granite table within the matched the replica, not the original. In the addition, the box had several distinctive scratches on the front doors. The replica all has scratches in similar pattern to the original, but a side-by-side compression easily. Distinguishing which box is the replica and the original, the box shown in the cutscene was also the replica. Although this was demonstrated, they were using the replica box for filming. I wasn't sure if the original box was what I saw in the museum. Lucky for me, I was informed that Bagans was going to open the box during his Ghost Adventures live show, airing on Halloween night. There was a chance the contents would be displayed in glorious HD. I set my DVR to record the 4-hour program and potentially waited. Unfortunately, Bagans didn't make good on his promise. He never opened the box. However, the broadcast did give me several close-up views of the box under his protective case. I compared these close-ups with the high-resolution image of the original box taken by Jamie Correll, the photographer Hexton used for his book. Carol 2012. Also, I mentioned earlier, there were several distinctive scratches on the front doors of both boxes. The identification, which was the original and the replica, I found the markings do indeed match the original boxes. At least the box is real. If not, the background story. The live event would not be the first time the box was to be opened on Bagin's TV show. In the episode of Deadly Possessions in which he receives the box, Bagans invited the original owner Kevin Manis to share his experience. At one point, Bagans puts the box in the basement isolation room and asks Manis to go down and sit in the room to see if any paranormal activity develops. Once in the room, Manis walks up to the box and doesn't hesitate to open it. To my disappointment, the box was facing away from the camera and we never get to see the inside of it. An interesting experience does take place during this segment. Manis wanders to the back of the dark room. You can no longer see his face, and after a few minutes, he begins speaking with a slight accent and recites a poem. This drives Bagans nuts. Manis is saying things such as Shadow Man, I wait here in the darkness, in the night time, till morning, I tolerate your soul. I torment your soul. Bagans changes into come out of this box and torment these souls, which was not said. Bagans then sends an elderly man, Theodore, to go in and check on Manis. Not very brave, Zach. Afterwards, Manis claims to have no money of his experience. No memory of his experience. The poem that Manis recites was very well spoken and seemed well known to him, even rehearsed. I was already aware of his professional writing and recording work, so this entire experience seemed staged to me. I typed a few lines of the poem into Google and tapped the entire button. The search result took me to the archive forum of the Four Plebs, where an anonymous poster solved the mysterious Anonymous 2016. She posted a link to the website bradjam.com and a site for musicians and bands to promote their music online. Kevin Manis has his own page with 8 works uploaded on them called The Shadow Man. Part 1 is the exact poem along with the same accent he required on the episode Manis 2019. It is important to note that the episodes of Deadly Possession aired on April 2016 and Kevin Manis had uploaded this poem on his Broadjam page 4 years prior on March the 23rd, 2012. In a post in the Haunt Me Facebook page, dated October the 24th, 2015, see screen cap Kevin Manis, the originator of the Divi Box legend, admitted that he had fabricated the story. I am the original creator of the story of the Dybbuk box, which appears as one of my eBay posts back in 2003. The idea of the Dybbuk box has some kind of history prior to my story, and the idea of the Dybbuk box could contain anything other than a Dybbuk, along with any division of the type of contents I created to be found inside of the Dybbuk box in Lobable of Best. How about this? If you or anyone else can find any reference to a debut box anywhere in history prior to the eBay post, I'll pay you £100,000 and tattoo your name on my forehead. This appears, at least to me, that Manis admitted creating the story from the whole cloth and takes ownership of the story creation. This elaborate story that started the entire legend was not a account of real supernatural events, but instead a fictional background he came up with to sell an originary and incomplete mini bar. A mini bar is not a Jewish wine cabinet. After seeing the box at the museum, I realized how small it was, measuring approximately 14.5 to 12.5 to 6.5 inches. I became curious, some would say obsessed, whether the ranks of the door could hold wine bottles, as many descriptions would lead us to believe. I searched the all-knowing internet for a few days and finally found a near duplicate online, then found another and another, as well as slight variations of hardware. Dash! Go and lay down! Go and lay down! It turns out that the Divi Box are mini bars from the 1950s and the 1960s. They include 4 shot glasses, 4 highball glasses, 4 liquor bottles, all having been made by Robert B. Carful of New York. Carful owned a company called Carful Originals, which was known for its various hosties, gifts, kitchen items, and other unique items. His original design for the liquor bar cabinet structure can be found documented extensively in Patent 2836477 film on September the 18th, 1957. Kaffroth, 1957, despite what various owners would have us think, the infamous Divi box is not a Jewish wine cabinet from Spain, but instead a minibar from New York. So, is there any viability to any Divi box being haunted or inhabited by an evil spirit? Absolutely not. The evidence leads to the conclusion that the Divi box is nothing more than a vented mini bar that begins in journey into a paranormal by a story created in 2009 by a professional writer to boost his eBay selling price. The box's reputation was propelled into paranormal pop culture by the late owner via a published book and later by the movie The Possession. Today it stays in a museum with paranormal celebrities claiming all sorts of specific paranormal activity associated with it, completely ignoring the facts that they have been duped by a hoax. Zach Bagans claims that the Divi box is one of the most haunted objects in the world. He seems to be at least one of the surface deathly afraid of opening the box for fear of something evil coming out. I would like to sincerely offer my service to Mr. Bagans. I will happily open the Divi box for him. Think about it, Zach. How cool would it be to show the skeptical guys like me how insanely haunted this box is and not a hoax? As all of the evidence concludes, my email is listed below. Feel free to contact me. By the way, after finding duplicate boxes online, I went ahead and ordered one. So if you can make it to the museum, feel free to stop by and see my Dybbuk box. Unlike Bagans, mine has both high level of proof and spirit in it. Rum, because I got the complete set. So, as I said to you, a lot of people believe that the Divi box is not real. They believe that it's just make-believe. It's one of those objects that, they believe that spirit or evil spirit cannot possess. Okay, like a lot of people out there believe that there's no way that objects can become haunted. Well, I can very much mistaken you there and tell you very much so that items can very much become haunted. And I very much believe in the Dybbuk box. I can't say I've ever experienced one for myself, but like I said, I have looked into things, and I find them very interesting. I most definitely would never open one and want to try to find out what's going to go on, but I do believe that there are some very, very negative energy that are attached to these boxes, whether that is somebody that once lived or if that is the Dybbuk spirit. I do believe that these boxes are extremely dangerous and not something that you should go messing with if you don't understand it. To be honest, I wouldn't suggest anyone messes with a Divi box, to be honest. Hello, Amanda Haynes. So what do you guys think on this box? What do you think on Divi boxes? What's your opinions? Do you think that they're real? Do you think that they're fake? Your opinion. Have any of you experienced anything around a box that would say that, you think that they're haunted? Hello, Tim. How are you? Midnight Paranormal, Hatchie. I'm sorry if I've missed you all. I will read you all out quickly. So we've got lovely Hatchie, UFO Man, which is Tim. Hello, Midnight Paranormal, Amanda Hayes, Hatchie, Bill B, Tony Rafter. Hello, my darling. Thinking of others. Hello, sweetheart. Ghost Adventures of Cornwall. Hello, brother. How are you? Mike. We've got lovely Cindy. We've got lovely Sam. Hello. Sammy, The Spiritual Journey. Hello, sweetheart. Free Souls, my angels. Hello. I am really, really sorry about my reading. I'm not very good with certain things. There's some really complicated words now. I was really trying to read them out as best as I could, but being dyslexic, I was reading it to the best that I could. Richard Stanford, hello. Welcome, sweet. West Haven, always and forever. Hello, sister. It's really nice to see you in. I've missed you, darling. Anita, hello, my honey. How are you? Hanging with Mr. J. Hello, sweetheart. Really good to see you in here as well. Obviously, we had lovely Tommy in here as well. Hello to Coffin if he's watching. We've got lovely Anne Marie. Hello, sweetheart. Really nice to see you in here. Oh, and my A team, lovely Chad. That will be because I know that my sis is at work. We've got lovely Donnie. Hello. So, as I said, we've got lovely Tommy and lovely Tim as well from UFO Man. Is there anybody that's wanting to come up on the stream with me? Please come and save me and come and sit up with me. Just keep me occupied. Is there anybody that's got any questions on the Divi box before I go on to the one piece of work that I got on the Ouija board? I am going to show you the Ouija board as well. Hello, how are you? Oh, you're off, are you? Let me send the link. Let me send the link up. And you can tell me what you thought of the research that I got. It was more talking about people's experiences and looking into the fake side of it as well. Because let's be honest, there is real and there's fake in anything to do with the supernatural. You've got those that are very truthful and real to what they are and the objects that they have. And then you've got those that would say and do anything to say something is something when it ends. So for me personally, I do believe in the Divi box. I've not experienced it, so I can't say 100% that I believe in it, but I do believe there is something behind it. And the same with the Ouija board. So, it's nuts. Sorry, I've got a message. Okay, let me just send the link. Right, I've sent it to you, Linda, my sis. I'm going to have to send it to Chad as well because I don't know if Chad's got it. My head's all over the place today as well, guys. I've got some stuff going on, so I'm not really thinking as straight as I want to be either. So I am really, really trying as hard as I can. I've been so sidetracked with all of the work and everything else going on with the company, along with the other things going on. So I'm trying to stay focused. I'm trying to keep going. There may be a possibility that I'm going to take a few days where we're not going to have the company open properly. It'll be open, but we're not going to be working in it properly, if you know what I mean. Like, you can still work on your cases and stuff like that, but we'll focus more on the work for the shows and getting all of the bits we need to get in order. Just wait for the guys to come up, so I don't mind talking to you like this for a minute. Sam, would you like to come up as well, sweet, if you want? You're part of the company. Would you like to come up and keep your boss lady company? I think I can do with it at the minute. So I've sent you the link as well, Sam. So please, guys, feel free to come up. Put me out my misery. Hell yeah. Come on then. Up you come, boy. Up you come. No, I don't need time to meditate. If anybody should know me by now, my sweethearts, I'm hardcore. I'm tough nut. I just keep going. You know I do. Company division. There's me angels. Oh, and we've got my friend there as well. Oh, what's happened here? So, what did you think? So, yeah, I kind of put all of this together. I really, really looked into stuff. Obviously, I was explaining to you guys in the room a little bit about it, about both objects beforehand, and now I'm reading you the stuff out. You know, guys, again, like a lot of the paranormal phenomena, these items are something that you either believe in them or you don't. Okay, you've got your own decision. You can all believe in what you want to believe in, but for me personally, I believe that Divi Boxes and Ouija boards are very real, and they're not all authentic and fake. And but until we actually ever get to get close enough to one to find out, without opening it, definitely not opening it, we can't say.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I know a couple of people. Oh. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I do know a couple witches that are kind of close, live kind of near me next door in a couple apartments, and they don't necessarily do boxes, but they do jars and everything. I told them I love them half to death, but I don't really want to even mess with that and everything. And the idea of messing with that's not too comfortable for me. And they said, why? I say anything can get into that. Any entity, anything can get into that. And also sometimes they'll add on to it, say like some hair that they found of the person,
this is what
or
I was
this and that.
They put in their positions. They'll put in their hair, their fingernail cuttings,
and
things like that. They will put curses and stuff on it. Like Cindy, you're saying I don't buy it, but if you can believe in other objects being haunted, why can not a box?
Well, they add on to it in the way that they put it. They get something called, I can't remember the name of it, but a Dremel that has a piercing tube or something like that. And then once they're done with it and they have everything secure, then they go somewhere and they bury them. Yeah. And I told them I love them half to death, but I don't want nothing to do with that.
Sadly, not everybody that goes into the possession of these boxes actually bury them. Some of them do actually sillily keep them in their house, thinking that they're going to be all right. And yeah, as I said, there are some authentic ones where people have lied about them being haunted when they're not. There's nothing wrong with them. But I do very personally and very much believe that the Divi box and the Ouija board are both very real objects. And like I said, and I'm sure my sis agrees with me, if we ever got onto an investigation, we would never open a Divi box for the very reasons of safety. But if it's haunted, and these boxes are the way that people say, you don't need to open it for it to have activity. It'll do it anyway. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Well, another thing they do also is that when they bury it out in the middle of nowhere. And whenever that happens, it's basically nothing you can do about it.
No, in some people's instances they do. That's why they bury them so far away in the house, because of what it does. You know what I mean? And the safety and stuff. Anything you want to say, Chad?
One of the investigations that we went on to, I believe it was Glendale, we actually avoided a room that actually had a Ouija board spray painted on the wall. So,
Well,
yeah, it's one of them. It doesn't even have to be bought. I mean, it's just one of them. You have the intention of invoking something by spray painting a Ouija board on a wall with the pentagram and everything there. I mean, we just avoided
At the end
that.
of the day, a Ouija board isn't a Ouija board, isn't it? It doesn't matter if it's on a board, if it's on a wall, if it's on the floor. If you do those things, like put the numbers, put the letters, do all of that, yes, no, you're opening that portal, that way for communication.
Right.
You don't need to have anything literally done. Just put it on the floor and do that, and it would happen. You know what I mean? Like, it's a way of communication. So
That's it. I mean, you don't have to go buy it. You can make it with paper. You can make it with spray paint. You can, sticker it. It doesn't matter how it's
I'm
made.
going to show you my
But it's
Ouija
the
board.
fact that you're invoking something to communicate with it. So, we, like I said, we avoided that room totally.
So
Now,
we don't
in
mess
no
with Ouija
shape or
board.
form,
We've never come across the box. Don't have intentions to. I mean, just researching it doesn't give a good vibe, So why would you want to come across in contact with it? Definitely isn't good.
give me 2 minutes, guys. I'm just trying to find the Ouija board.
You're fine.
In no shape or form do I use this thing. Just letting you know.
Okay.
Find it. It's hid under the bed. That good. I can't find it.
Yeah,
It's not meant to be found.
exactly.
Hello, darling. Come on, carefully. Ooh. And to be quite honest, guys, you don't even really need to play with it for it to actually do anything. You know what I mean? If you've got spiritual energy around you, if you are in that power, you don't necessarily have to have it where an energy will not be attached. It just means you're not playing with it. So let me show you the Divi box, not the Divi box, guys, the Ouija board. Let me just bring my picture up. Oh, strong. Right. So first, you've got the placket. Now this is what you use. You put it onto the board. You would stick your finger on it, and it supposedly moves. The energies will move the placket around to speak to you, okay? Now, one of the most known negative energies that are associated with the Ouija board is Zozo, okay? A very negative and very dangerous energy, very much in the way of possessing and taking people over. So let me just show you how beautiful and how much they can pull you in, but don't be fooled, okay?
As a lot of teens like to think of it as a toy, this is far from.
it's good work. I'll say that much. It's good work.
So here you've got an original Ouija board. Okay, so you've got the yes, the no, you've got the numbers down here, you've got the letters, you've got the yes, you've got the no.
That's pretty.
Down here you've got the goodbye. And on the back is the prayer. You should always do a prayer before you play with an Ouija board. It's very important that you do a prayer before you play with the Ouija board to keep it closed and safe so that you don't become possessed or anything like that, or anything negative comes through. You are supposed to do this. But this is what an Ouija board looks like. Okay, there are many sorts of Ouija boards. They don't all look like this. There's some very old looking ones. There's, you know, homemade ones. The thing is with these sort of items, you have to be very careful, because like a Divi box, okay, when you go into possession with these sort of items, you don't know the intentions, the energy that people have put into it. You don't know what's attached to it. You don't know what you're bringing into your home. It can be very dangerous. This I was brought from a witch fair that I went to by my ex-partner. Never been used, just been stuck under my bed. It was brand newly made. So it's not going to cause you any problems, guys, because it's never been used. But, you know, for me, they are very real. And like people have said to me, like, are you conscious to try? Are you conscious to try and use it just to see if anyone can communicate with you? No, I'm not. Okay, I don't use Ouija boards, and I never will. Same as Divi boxes. So that is what an Ouija board looks like. Under your bed doesn't lead to sweet dreams. Oh, it does, Cindy, because when you know what you're doing and you know how to keep yourself safe, I don't have bad dreams when it comes to this. This is not dangerous because it's never been used. So I'm very safe with this under my bed. This has been under my bed for 5 years now, and it's never done me anything. Do I look like I'm suffering, that there's anything wrong with me? No. So most definitely do not have bad dreams from it, put it that way. I always put the plachet underneath the board because I don't like the plachet to be on top of it, because then you can open the board just like that. So I always place the plachet underneath the board so that it's not communicating with it. Yeah, and you know, everybody has different experiences with the Ouija boards. You know, I've had people that have come across to me and said they've only had good experiences with the Ouija boards. They've not had anything bad happen. Then I've had people that have come forward and said they've had really bad stuff happen, and that they've had Zozo come through and things like that, you know. So it's very mixed. And again, I very much believe in the Ouija board. I've seen people use the Ouija board. I've seen things that happen. I know that they're very real. There's a lot of controversial behind it, especially with scientists and that. They try to say that our own energy and who we are is what manipulates the board and manipulates the Divi boxes and manipulates things such as dowsing rods and stuff like that, which is absolutely ridiculous. Sorry, but it is. So that's back under the bed. So that is the Ouija board. No, and I won't. I've seen people use them. I've seen people go through some really bad stuff, and I've seen people that have gone through really good stuff. But just in my opinion, not because I don't know how to use it, because I do. It's something I would never put myself into using. You know, I don't feel comfortable with doing that. It's not something I like at all. I'd rather just stay safe, you know, and that's what I do. I will cleanse and bless that on a regular basis to make sure that nothing comes to it, because I know that I have a lot of energy around it. So, now let's talk to you and read out the little bit that I got on the Ouija board for you. And then obviously other people can just refer in when they feel like it. The Ouija board is also known as a spirit board or a talking board. It is a flat board marked with the letters of the alphabet, the numbers from 0 to 9, and the words yes, no, and occasionally hello and goodbye. along with a various of symbols and graphics. Its use is a plachet, small-hearted shaped piece of wood or plastic, as a movable indicator to spell out messages during a sensory or a ritual or whatever. People use them for all many different reasons. Participants place their fingers on the plachet and it moves about the board to spell out words. The Ouija board is a trademark of Hasbro, but is often used generally to refer to talking board. Spiritualists in the United States believe that the dead were able to contact the living and reportedly used a talking board very similar to the modern Ouija board as their camps in the USA, state of Ohio, in 1986, to obstinately enable faster communication with spirits. Following its commercial introduction by business Ouija Board on the 1st of July 1890, the Ouija board was regarded as an innocent parlor game unrelated to the occult until the American spiritualist Pearl Curran popularized its uses and a divining tool during World War I. Paranormal and supernatural beliefs associated with the Ouija board have been criticized by the scientific community and are characterized as pseudoscience. The actions of the board can be most easily explained by unconscious movements of those controlling the pointer, a physiological phenomenon known as the endomotor effect. Mainstream Christian demonstration, including Catholicism, have warned against using the Ouija boards, holding that they can lead to demonic possession. Occultists, on the other hand, are divided on the issue, with some saying that it can be a tool for positive transformation. Others relegate the warnings of many Christians and cautions experienced users against it. One of the first mentions of the automatic writing method used in the Ouija board is found in China around the 1100 AD in historical documents of the Song Destiny. The method was known as Fuji plachet writings. The use of the plachet writing as an essential means of necromancy and communication with the spirit world contained and built under special ritual and supervision was the critical practice of the Zozo school until it was forbidden by the Qing dynasty. Talking boards. As part of the spiritualist movement, mediums begin to employ various means for communication with the dead. Following the American Civil War in the United States, mediums did significant business in allegedly allowing survivors of contact lost relatives. The Ouija board itself was created and named in Baltimore, Maryland in 1890. But the use of the talking board was so common by 1886, the news reported the phenomena taking over the spiritualist camps in Ohio. Commercial prior game. Business Eagle Bond have the idea of potent and plachet sold with a board on which the alphabet was printed, much like the previous existing talking boards, bound filled on the 28th of May 1890 for patient protection, and through those in credit with the invention of the Ouija board. Issues date on the placket was on the 10th of February 1891. He received the US patent 446.054 bond, was an alternate attorney, and was an inventor of other objects in addition to this device. And an employer of England Bond, William Field, told over a talking board production in 1901. Field stated productions of his own board under the name Ouija. Charles Kennard, founder of Kennard Novelty Company, which manufactured Field's talking board, and when Flood had worked as a furnisher, claimed he learned the name Ouija from using the board, and that it was an ancient Egyptian word meaning good luck. When Flood took over production of the board, he popularized the more widely accepted etymology that the name came from a combination of French and German words for yes. The full name became synonymous with the Ouija board, as Feud renovated its history, claiming that he himself had invented it. The strange talk about the boards from flawed competitors flooded the market, and also these boards enjoyed a heyday from the 1920s. The Ouija board phenomenon is considered by the science community to be the result of the Indemorta response. Michael Ferrier first described the effect in 1853 while investigating table turning. Various studies have been conducted, creating the effects of the Ouija board in the lab and showing that under laboratory conditions, the subjects were moving the placket involuntarily. And 2012 studies found that when answering yes or no questions, the Ouija used was significantly more accurate than guesswork, suggesting that it might draw on the subconscious mind. Skeptics have described the Ouija board users as operators. Some critics have noted that the message obstinately spelled out by spirit were similar to whatever was going through the mind of the subject. According to Professor of Neurology Terence Hines, in his book Pseudoscience and the Paranormal 2003, the placket is guided by an unconscious muscular extensions like those responsible for table movement. Non-fearless in both cases, the illusion that the object, table or placket is moving under its own control is often extremely powerful and significant to convince many people that the spirits are truly at work. The unconscious muscle movements responsible for the moving table and the Ouija board phenomena, seen at the seasons of examples of a class of phenomena due to what physiologists call a disactive state. A disactive state is one in which consciousness is somehow divided or cut off from some aspects of the individuals. Normally cognitive, motor, or sensory functions. The Ouija board were already criticised by Solos early on, being described in the 1927 journalist as vestigial remains of primate belief system and a con to the part falls from their money. Another was 1921. Journalists described reports of the Ouija board finding as half truth and suggested that their inclusion in national newspapers at the time lowered the national discourse overall. In the 1970s, the Ouija board users were also described as cult members by sociologists, though this was several scrutinies in the field. The religious response. Early in the Ouija board history, it has been criticized by several Christian demonstrations, the Catholic Church, in the Catechism of the Catholic Church, in the paragraph 2116, explicitly forbids any practice of divination, which includes using of a Ouija boards. Also, Catholic Answers, a Roman Catholic Christian apologetics organization, states that the Ouija board is far from harmless, as it is a form of division seeking information from spiritual sources. Moreover, Catholic bishop in Microsia called for the board to be banned and warned congregations that they were talking to demons when using the Ouija board. In the postal letter, the Dutch Reformed churches encouraged its communicants to avoid the Ouija boards, as it is a practice related to the occult. The Wisdom evangelical Lutheran syndrome also forbids its faithful from using the Ouija board, as it teaches that such would be a violation of the 10 Commandments. In 2021, the Ouija board was burned in Margo, New Mexico, by fundamentalist groups, alleged Harry Potter books, also symbols of witchcraft, religion. Criticisms has also experienced beliefs that the Ouija board reveals information which should only be in God's hands and those it is a tool of. Satan, a spokesperson from Human Life International, describes the board as a portal to talk to spirits and called for Hasbro to be prohibited from making them. These religions' objections to use of the Ouija boards have in turn given rise to ostentation type folklore in the communities where they circulate cautionary tales that the board opens a door to evil spirits, turns the game into a subject of supernatural dare, especially for young people. Noble users, literature. Ouija boards have been the source of inspiration for literary work, using as guidance in writing or as a form of channeling. Literary work also is a result of the Ouija boards becoming popular in the early 20th century. By the 1920s, many physics books were written of varying quality, often intated by the Ouija board users. Hang on a minute, guys. Is there any more? Aleister Crowley had great admiration for the use of the Ouija board, and it played a passing role in his magical workings. Jane Wolfe, who lived with Crowley, and Abbey of Felmer, also used the Ouija board. She credited some of her greatest spiritual communications to use of this implement. Crowley also discussed the Ouija board with another of his students, and the most ardent of them, Frater Archt and Charles Stanfield Jones. It is frequently mentioned in the unpublished letter in 1917, Ached experiment with the board as a means of summoning angels and upsized to elementals. In one letter, Crawley told Jones, "Your Ouija board experiments is rather fun. You see how very significant it is. But I believe things improve greatly with practice. I think you should keep to one angel and make the magical preparations more elaborate." Over the years, both become so fascinated by the board that they discussed making their own design. Their disclosure culminated in the letter dated on the 21st of February 1919, in which Crawley tells Jones, "Re a Ouija board, I offer you the basics of the 10% of my net profit. You are in your accept You are in if you accept this, responsible for the legal protection of the idea and the marketing of the copyright design. I trust that this may be satisfactory to you. I hope to let you have the material in the course of a week." In March, Crawley wrote I'll try to inform him. "I'll think up another name for the Ouija," but their business venture never came to fruition, and Crawley never designed along with his name for the board has not survived. Crawley had stated of the Ouija board that there is, however, a good way of using the instrument to get what you want, and that is to perform the whole operation in the consecrated circle, so the undescribable aliens cannot interfere with it. You should then employ the proper magical innovation in order to get into your circle just the one spirit you want. It is comparatively easy to do this. A few simple instructions are all that is necessary, and I shall be pleased to give these free of charge to anyone who cares to apply. Ouija boards have figured permanently in horror tales, in various media as devices enabling malevolent spirits to spook their users. Most often, they make brief appearances, relying heavily on the atmosphere of the mystery of the board already holds in its mind of the viewer. In order to add credence to the paranormal present in the story behind told. So, again, You know, the Ouija board, a lot like the Divi box. Again, it's an instrument that some like to use and some don't. I personally don't like to use it because I don't believe that they're hoax. I've seen experiences where people have used the Ouija boards. I've seen some strange things happen. I've never personally used it, but I've seen things happen. I very much believe the energy behind the spirit boxes and what communicates with it. There has been, you get these scientific people that say that when people are using these Ouija boards, we're not unconsciously remembering or knowing that our body is physically moving the placket in our spiritual energy, not in our physical energy. But then how do you explain that when you've got a placket sitting on the board and it moves across the board on its own? What, that's us doing that, is it, when we're not touching it? So for me, that the Ouija board is very, very real. I believe in the Ouija board more than I do the Divi box, most definitely. It's a very dangerous tool if you don't know how to use it.
It's definitely dangerous. I've talked to a lot of people, and they're good people, keep that in mind, but whenever they have it and everything, they use it a few times, certain strange events can happen. One of those things is like electricity can somehow magically, I don't know how you would call it, get drained into place. So say like one room, the flickering of lights, and sometimes either it can surge or it can go out completely, like overload or just nothing at all. Then you've got certain feelings that you might have. Someone might not ever have a feeling of anger or resentment or this or that. And then they come in, they play with the Ouija board for a while, and emotions that most people would never think that they would have, they can oftentimes do critical and dumb things that no one would ever think of them. Then there's also well, like I said, various emotions that can go along with it. Then you have, sometimes they call them visions, sometimes they call them hallucinations. But people that I've talked to in the past can come up with certain things, say like information that you never thought would ever happen, but no, they're being tricked because some kind of malevolent spirit can go out of its way to give you certain information and then mess you over in a nasty, critical way. And the list goes on and on. I won't have, hopefully in my life, I never get a Ouija board. I do not want one. I do not want one in my place or any place that I might have one. It's critical to, in certain ways, the best thing to do if you want to prevent bad things from happening, just don't get a Ouija board. It's that simple.
Yeah, but for me, I had no choice. My ex had bought the Ouija board, so I have to keep hold of it because I'm not going to let anybody else go into the possession of it. I know what I'm doing. I know how to keep it safe, and that is what I've done for 5 years. So, if I had the choice and he didn't buy it, then that would have been fine. But there was just no way in hell that I was going to let him take it when he's got no clue on how to use it or anything like that. I wouldn't have wanted him to anyway. So for me, as an investigator and as a researcher and as somebody that is very well known in the paranormal, I felt it was my obligation to take that board and to keep it safe. Okay. Yeah. For his sake, my sake, and for their sake. Yeah, because I'm not being funny. It's not just one spirit that comes through that board. There are many spirits when you're communicating with it. Okay. Yeah, you might get Zozo come through, but there are other energies communicating with that, whether they're good or they're bad. You can get both through on the Ouija board. It is true, but it is more known for the malevolent energies. Okay, so a lot of people see that a lot more, that it's negative energies that communicate with this board. It's spirits pretending to be loved ones. It's spirits pretending that it's somebody that you know, when in fact they are actually spirits that mean you ill intention. They don't care about you. They don't like you. You're of God. They don't like God. So they come through. They are negative energy, so I very much believe that the Ouija board is mostly communicated with negative energy. I do believe in that. Hello, pups. Love you. You know, it's not an object to muck around with, just like the Divi boxes. And, you know, there's going to be skeptics and there's going to be believers for both, okay? But in my opinion, don't mess with them. Don't mess with them, okay? Like, anyone can sit there and go, it's not real, it's hoax, it's this, blah, blah, blah. But how do you really know? Okay. And like I said, I've not had a proper experience with a Divi box, so I can't really say about that. But I do believe that they're real through some of the research and stuff I've looked into. But with the Ouija board, I have experienced people using them. I have seen really weird phenomena happen. Things such as lights turning on and off, things moving, tables being moved, things being thrown around. There has even been people that have died from using the Ouija board. You get a lot of people that talk about bad luck and just bad things happening in their life, illness. They feel plagued constantly. There's so many things that are related to these objects. It's unbelievable. So
I'm not surprised. I'm definitely not surprised. I mean, just how it goes. I mean, well, like I said, I know how to handle one, but I just choose not to.
Yeah, I do. I know how to use. I know.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Of course, I do. Being, you know, who I am, but I just wouldn't. I'm a spiritual person, and I'm very open to the spirit world. So for me, I would find that very dangerous to do that. I would be putting my life in a lot more danger by using the Ouija board. You know, it's dangerous enough communicating through my own self, let alone using something else that's even more powerful. You know what I mean? That I just wouldn't even risk it. You know, so. For me, it's not. And I took it from him because he has no clue over this thing. And I'd rather it be in my possession and safe than be in somebody else's possession and maybe harm lots of people playing with it. You know what I mean? So
yes, definitely.
And when I do get to where I want to get and I am settled, I will be taking the board with me, and the board will be being put into a glass cabinet where it's going to have salts and everything put around it so that nothing can use it or go near it. It will be sealed away.
But like I said, I don't blame you, and I respect that completely.
So, you know what I mean? I could throw it away. I could put it in the bin, but what's the point of doing that? What's the point of throwing it in a bin for somebody to find it and pick it up, or bury it for somebody to dig it up? There's no point. I might as well just keep it on myself, where it's safe, where it's in the hands of somebody that knows what they're doing, and everybody's safe. Okay, like, I'm not being funny. You know, I've had it here, like I said, for the 5 years, and I've not had nothing negative happen to me and stuff like that. You know, I've made sure I've kept it cleansed and blessed, and that nothing is getting through to that. You know, I've got a lot of energy in my home that could very easily attach to that if they wanted to, but I've made sure I've done stuff to that board so that doesn't happen. So, and I will. It'll be going in a glass case when I move.
Well, I definitely hope I get to see it someday. I mean, the thing is, you've got a flair for that, and it'll probably look pretty darn good the way you do it. I mean,
yeah, I'm going to have like a glass case. It's going to be quite a big one, because obviously you see the Ouija board. It's not small.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
So it's going to be in the case, and it's going to have all the sage and everything done over it. It's going to have different salts in it. It's going to have some of the herbs that I make up that are very, very powerful, and that's all going to be put in there, and it's all going to be sealed. And then it's going to have a candle ritual done over it so that it's sealed with the candle so that nothing can get in it. You know, so
yeah.
Because
definitely.
I don't want anybody to mess with it. I don't want anyone to play with that. You know, it's a beautiful board. It is. And it's very easy to get pulled in by these most beautiful objects. They are beautiful, okay? But they are so dangerous. So dangerous. Hang on a minute, pups. I'll send you a link. Hang on. So, anything else you want to say on it? Pups is going to come up and speak about the subject a little bit as well.
Well, the thing is, I adore him. I mean, he makes perfect sense at everything he talks about.
So do I, darling. Learn from the best.
Yes.
Just my reading's really shit. Excuse my language, but I've just swore on the company channel, but oh well. Yeah, I'm not, my dyslexia gets in the way of some of the really long words. So I was struggling on a little bit of the reading, but you know, I done it. Hello, Nada. How are you? You know, I think I described the Ouija board in a very good way. Like I said, you know, Ouija boards and Divi boxes are all occult related, ritual related. It can be through, like, the Divi box can be related through energies of people that have passed away, through such things as nail cuttings, hair, special tools that belong to them, special sentimental bits. And normally these sort of boxes would be made to be secret and not to be opened. And if you do, there is some sort of curse or something over them that can prove to be very, very, very dangerous and very negative. So, and it's the same with the Ouija board as well. So the Ouija board is very dangerous, especially if you don't know what you're doing. As I said, you know, everybody's different. There's people that believe in the Ouija boards and like to play with Divi boxes. That's up to them, okay? If they want to do that sort of thing, that's up to them. That's their own working, yeah? But for anybody that takes on what I say, please don't play with them, okay? Just don't. Don't even try to find out. They're very real. I sent you the link in your messenger, pups. They're very, very real and very dangerous. And you know, you get a lot of scientific people that are saying, no, they're not real, they're fake, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you really do not know what you're talking about. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm okay. Just doing my company educational stream.
Yes, and you're doing a very good job, by the way.
Don't worry, Miss Cherry. We got your back. Next year, I will be your best field investigator, giving you a lot of content, and can't wait to join your company. That would be absolutely amazing, Nada. And believe me, there'll be a lot of good stuff there. But yeah, you know, the main energy that's associated with is Zozo. Zozo is one of the most known energies associated to the Ouija board. And they're very real. The Ouija boards and Divi boxes are very real. Yeah, there's fake in both, but they're not make-believe objects.
Well,
Pops, do you want to reflect a little bit?
Sure. The first thing, automatic handwriting, is allowing a spirit to use your arm and your hand to write out messages and have conversations with them.
Yeah, I've done it. I know what.
The one thing about good to see you too, Mins. One thing about automatic handwriting, there's never spaces between the words. It's all one long word from start to finish. Okay.
Yeah.
With automatic handwriting, there's no such thing as taking a break in between words.
No, it just continuously goes.
It just continuously goes and continuously, and then you got to kind of break it all up to read what it is.
Yeah, it doesn't always make sense.
No. And this is what actually inspired the first talking board. Now, I'm not going to say Ouija board because that's a company in itself, but it is actually the basis, the form for the very first talking board. Automatic handwriting has been around since the 900s, 900 BC. Okay, automatic handwriting has been here forever. And then about the late 1700s or whatever, the first talking boards started to come out. And then
around the Victorian times that they started to get really into that sort of stuff.
Yeah, because there was so much loss of life that people really wanted to talk to their families that had passed and everything else. So that's when the name brand Ouija board really made their move on the market, right?
Yeah.
Around that time period. But anyway, so moving on to the Ouija board, it was patented as a game, okay, which is why it's sold in kid stores, because the patent of the board itself is a game, just like Monopoly or Life or whatever. Okay, it's got the exact same pattern as Monopoly.
Yeah, please do not mistake Monopoly as being like an Ouija board, because it definitely is not.
Well, no. Well, what I'm saying, it's got the same pattern, so they can be sold in the same store.
Yeah, and I was going to get onto that about the fact that.
So now what happens?
They got sold in the shop. And,
now the Ouija board itself, okay, how this works, in my opinion, okay, and I'm not saying that I know everything or that I'm right, but in my opinion, the Ouija board for some people is a toy, and that's all it'll ever be, and it'll never do anything, okay?
Yeah.
Because it's a toy to them. But just like witchcraft or druidism or shamanism, it's what you put into it is what you get out of it. So if you believe it's nothing more than a toy, guess what? It's a toy.
Yeah.
If you believe you can communicate with other spirits through it, guess what? You're gonna. Because it's what you put into everything which gives it its power. Same with your spells. It's what you put into your spells that make the spells work or not. Okay? Well, the Ouija board is kind of based on that same thing. If you think of the Ouija board as a spell, whatever you believe is possible can be possible. Whatever you believe is impossible will be impossible. It's a spell, okay? Being able to talk to the other side in itself is a spell. So a lot of it comes up with belief. Now, saying that, I have seen Ouija boards operate all by themselves, nobody within 30 feet of it.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I had that experience where the plastic was moving on its own.
Those boards already have an attachment, okay?
Yeah.
I've seen the planchette go flying across the room and hit a reverend in the back of the head as he was walking away. Okay? These boards can be dangerous. They can be nasty. They can be evil. But that usually happens because people using them don't know what they're doing. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
It's like a communication tool. And here's the thing. If you believe it's like, let's say, a spirit box, or you believe it's like cards or anything like that, oracle cards. If you believe it's anything like that, which it is, then you can talk to the good spirits, you can talk to relatives, you can talk to whoever. If you believe that it talks to the dead, then that's open to everything, including the demons. Okay? Now, like anything else, you've got to open and close your sessions. If you leave it open, now you've got a portal where something nasty can attach to it, and now you got yourself some serious issues. Okay, because they will take the opportunity. If there's an opportunity, you think about it, if something evil is hanging around, now there's an opportunity for it to link itself into this world, from the spirit world to this world. Why would it not take that opportunity?
Well, that is the whole point of it, really. That's
the whole point right there.
I like you, Pubs. Yeah, I understand where you've got. I have slightly different beliefs because I don't believe that you need to put the intention in for it to do something. I've seen people that completely don't believe in the Ouija board and it's worked for them. Okay, I've seen.
That's
that would not know what they're doing, would not know that they're talking.
But that's what I'm saying.
And they've had something happen. So I don't believe that you have to put the intention in for the board to actually work. I think it just doesn't.
No, you don't have to put. No, hang on now. I didn't say that. Innocence, if something's innocent, that can attract the darkness too, right?
Yeah.
And now they become believers because shit happens to them.
Well,
it's not that that's what happens. It's that a person has a belief. So anyone using, I don't care who you are, if you're 5 years old or if you're 100 years old, if you put your hands on that planchette, you're doing it with enough belief that something might happen. The belief of a mustard seed, okay, can move a mountain. So if you have the tiniest bit of belief that it might work, you've just opened the door. The door's open, right? Because you believe, even though it's teeny weeny, you still have that belief in the board. so the board can work if it chooses to. Okay?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And that's what I'm saying. A lot of times these things happen because people who don't know what they're doing, people who are innocent, or people that are trying to make that connection. You know, some people try to summon demons. They'll use the board. And guess what?
Yeah.
They're going to answer that call.
Oh,
Some people don't know what they're doing. They don't realize that there is something there. You know, they have the hint that, well, maybe something will happen, maybe it won't. That's all it takes. And sometimes
just acknowledging
it will come through, right?
Yeah.
You know, but if someone's using it as a toy and they say, I'm going to move it around and scare my friends, then that's all that's going to happen with that board.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that you was in the wrong pubs. I would never ever contradict you. Obviously not. I know that you know your stuff. I just guess that in some things, like, people look at things differently. You know what I mean? Like I can't really personally resonate. Like, my daughter is 5 to 7 years old. Yeah, I'm not going to sit there and say that my daughter's going to put that hand on that placket and she's going to know what she's doing, or that she,
of course not.
And stuff can still happen. They're not made to do that.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. The innocent, because they're innocent, that attracts the negative.
Yeah, because the demonic and the negative energy want to take over good souls.
Right. And the simple fact that they're using it, thinking that it might happen, that's all the energy that needs to be put out into these things. They're very dangerous.
They are, and I know through experience. I've not personally ever used it, but I've been around people that have, and I've seen very bad things happen.
Now, can I use it? Sure, certainly I could if I wanted to. Can I do stuff? Certainly I can. Will I? Never. Not because I'm afraid of it, or not because it worries me in any shape or form, but because in the 52 years that I've been working with the diocese and with the Shaman Institute and the Druid Society, I have had over 300 cases where something has come into someone's house because of the Ouija board.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I've had to work and clean up other people's crap for so long. Just looking at the thing makes my stomach turn, because I just can't stand it because of all the work it's given me through the years.
And I've helped people like you as well, Pup. This is another reason I don't play with them. Like you, I know how to use it. I would know how to use it. I would know how to open it and shut it, but I don't. And another reason for me is my spirituality. I'm so open in who I am already. I think that would be even more dangerous using in the Ouija.
Well, yeah, it would be
more. You know, you're allowing more things through. So I don't entertain.
And that's another thing people don't realize. If you are an empath, or you have any gifts whatsoever, and you're using that board, it's going to be that much stronger because of your gifts, because of what you are, because of what you do, right? So you inadvertently are charging it anyway as you go.
Exactly. You've already made it open before you've even started playing with it.
Before you even touched it, because you're an empath, before you even touch the damn thing, you think about opening it, it's open, right? Because you're an empath. So that's my whole view on the Ouija board. It's basically a communication tool, like automatic handwriting, depending on the person and how much control they have and how much faith they have and belief in the board. If they believe they can talk to the good spirits and are aware that bad ones can come, right? 9 times out of 10, they'll get good spirits. Okay, as long as they're aware that it can happen, they're even more careful about who they let speak through the board, right? So those people like that don't bother me if they use the board, because I know it's going to be safe.
No,
right?
And that's what I'm saying. I'm not against anybody that uses them. If you know how to use it properly and you're sensible, then there's no problem. You know what I mean? But if you're doing it uneducated and you don't know what you're doing, you're just asking for trouble. Like, literally, you know, like, just don't play with it if you don't know what you're doing. Don't even
like
do not touch them if you don't know what you're doing.
One of my ancestors, who was on the Druid site, said to me when I was just very small, he said, "Do you know how to do this crossing of this thing?" And I said, "Not yet." He says, "Well, don't waddle in the mud."
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, which means if you don't know what you're doing, stay out of water. Right? Don't go in the mud if you don't know how to get out. Right?
Yeah.
Because when you get there, when we're taught you that, when you've learned that, then you do it all you want. But until then, stay out of the mud.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Don't touch it if you don't know what you're doing yet.
So that's the same thing that applies with any communication device, any deity device, even your spirit rods, anything that you use. If you don't know what you're doing, learn your craft before you jump into the deep end. That's all I'm saying.
So what is your opinion on Divi Boxes, pups?
Okay, that is a very, very strange subject.
I have done a talk on that today. I don't know if you heard it.
Because Divi Boxes, okay, the real ones, the ones that are, well, there's a Divi and a Divot.
Yeah,
now,
the
Divi box is when someone's loved one or someone has someone they care, they want to put as a remembrance something of them there, right?
Yeah.
Which allows that person to be attached to that box so that they can feel closer with the person left behind. Okay. Yeah. Now, those things are very common. The problem with some of them is a family member, the box gets passed down 1 or 2 generations, and then all of a sudden somebody has one where they've got no connection to their ancestor that lived in that box, right? So they never knew their grandfather, right? So this thing is collecting dust, so they sell it on eBay for $20 or whatever, right? As a Dybbuk box, which it isn't. It's a Divi, 2 different things. But they'll sell it on there. Now, and of course, you can get, you think about if you're a human spirit and you were there to stay with your family, then your family turns around and sells you to some complete stranger, and that stranger keeps prodding you with a stick, you're going to get pissed off and do something.
Yeah,
right?
And this is what I explained in earlier to these guys. I said, a lot of these boxes are associated with negative energies. There is a spirit known as a Dybbuk that is in some of these boxes and stuff. That
is a totally different thing.
Yeah.
What that is, those are demons.
I know that, pup, because I do know. I do a lot of research on the Divi boxes.
Yeah, I know, but I'm explaining for the people here. I'm not explaining for you. Yeah, you know all this shit. I've just explained it for the people who are watching. Now, the Divi box was basically made originally, to capture demons. It wasn't actually made to control them or to do anything with them. They were made as a caption device to catch a demon to keep it away from a family. Okay, that's what it was originally for.
Yeah,
and the box is made. Now the box is a rectangular thing. Now here's the real box. Okay, here's what the real box is. Again, in my opinion, it's a rectangular box. It's about 4 inches wide, 4 inches high, and about 8 inches long. And it's a rectangular shape. Okay. The demon is bound and put into the box. Okay. And it's bound by whatever spiritual thing was used to bound the thing in the first place. Then that object is put into the box. Then acid salt is put on top of that and in the box, and the box is put together and pounded together. There's no door. It is glued and pounded together with a wooden mallet, okay? And it is compressed with the salt. If you open it up and you get this shit in your eyes, you're blind forever, okay? The Divi box, the real ones, have things that people have caught demons with or attached a demon to. Yeah. And then they put it into the box and they covered it with acid salt to make sure it can't get out. And then they sealed the box tight. Okay. Yeah. There's no damn doors on it. You can't open the box. Okay. The real box, you have to smash it open or take a chisel and pop the bottom off. There are no doors on a real Divi box. Okay, so if you've got a Divi box that's got doors on it, it's a Divi box. It's a human spirit in the box. It's not a demon. human spirits were put into boxes, just like they were for dolls. When dolls were first made, it was made so that they could host the human spirit. So the human spirit could go into the doll, and the doll was usually made with that person's hair, right? It was made so that the spirit of the child or the spirit of the mother or whatever could attach to the doll. Okay? And it's a vessel for the doll. Well, the Divi boxes are the same thing. It's just a vessel for family or ancestor spirit to be able to attach to that box in order so that they may come and go and have a tether to visit their relatives. Yeah. Right? But over the last, 10 years, with all the different advertisements and shows, they've lost sight of what it's about. They think that they're all full. Every one of them has a demon in it, which is bullcrap. 90% of them just have a human spirit that was put there or was allowed to tether there.
And that's what I said to these guys. I said, a lot of them just have like loved ones in them.
Yeah, just loved ones, and that's all it is. And they tethered to the box so that they could stay with the family.
But the thing is, they can become negative and dangerous, especially if it's in the hands of somebody that is not even their family. They can switch, like pup spirits can change the way that they act and the way they are, especially if it's in the hands of someone that they don't know.
Exactly. So now, now the family, the box is in the family for a couple of generations, 3-4 generations. The new generation doesn't give a damn about the box. They don't know the relative. They don't give a crap about the relative. So now, because the Dybbuk is such a popular thing, they can sell it on eBay for $1,000. Why not? Right? So they sell it. So now the spirit, not only has the spirit still have his tether line to the box, so that he could be the family has just tossed him out in the garbage, basically. And not only that, sold him for a slave.
Well, they've kind of got the spirit, haven't they? They've forgot who they are to them.
Right, like because the spirit is still tethered, right? It's still tethered.
Yeah.
So now we got this human spirit who misses his family, misses the reason that he tethered himself there in the first place, is in a room with a bunch of strangers that keep calling him a demon and pointing at him and prodding him and poking him and everything else, making him and telling him how evil he is, right?
Yeah, which makes him angry.
So he's been abandoned by his family, sold as basically a slave, now in a unfriendly environment because people are trying to cause trouble with it. And then people wonder why, when they open it up, all kinds of shit hits the fan. Well, what happened, once you open it, you break that tether. So that spirit is free to go. But on his way out, he's going to kick some ass. Believe me, he's going to get his beat, I certainly would. Right?
I know it's sad, Mittens, but sadly, that is very true, sweetheart. Like Pup said, there are two different sorts. You've got the one that has the demonic spirits that used to be captured in them, as we know. And then you've got the one which is the fellow spirit people, of loved ones. And sadly, over the last God knows how many years, people have forgot about the importance of their loved ones and those boxes, and they've got rid of them, thinking nothing of it. And this poor soul's wondering why it's in possession of somebody that they don't know. It's being disrespected, being made out to be something that he or she is not. And, you can't expect them to not react. You know what I mean? Like, you've taken them from their home. You've took them for where they know, and now you're disrespecting them at the same time.
Right. And now, when they finally open the damn box, that spirit has a chance to get out of there and break its tether.
Yeah.
Breaking a tether is a very violent act for a spirit. Okay? It sends them into a rage.
Yeah.
So, not only have they been treated like crap from all these people.
They go through pain as well.
They finally broke that thing. They're free. But now they're going to fight their way out of that house. They're going to do whatever they got. Turn on lights, push people out of the way. They're going to do whatever they can do to get the hell out of that atmosphere. Right?
Yeah, they do, yeah.
Because they need to get all the energy to launch themselves from this atmosphere to the astral atmosphere.
Yeah.
Right? And the only way they can do that is get the energy from the people, the lights, the electricity, everything in the house. They got to supercharge themselves so they can blast through this atmosphere of ours into the atmosphere that they actually belong in.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're going to do everything and anything it takes to either scare the people or get energy from the people, get energy from the lights. They're not doing it to be malevolent to them. They're doing it because it's survival.
They're trying to save themselves.
They're trying to save themselves. They're trying not to be destroyed or to be linked to something that they don't want to be stuck here, right? So they're fighting for their absolute survival. Okay, now when you're fighting for your life, when you're fighting for survival, when you're fighting to save yourself, other shit gets in the way. Oh, well, you know what I mean? Like, that's life. I got to save my own ass here, right? And that's the mentality of these spirits, especially after being treated so crap for however long they were stuck in that box till they decide to open
But isn't our natural instinct to protect ourselves? So why would they not want to protect themselves?
Right.
In the spirit world? You know what I mean? They are still human spirit. They are still people with emotions and feelings, even when you cross over. So, you know, what Pups is saying is very, very true. And obviously I know this because it's Pups, you know what I mean? But, you know, when they go through these transactions where people break into their properties and do this to them, you know, it's not just the sense of being lost and trying to escape. They go through a transaction of pain. Okay,
well, and not only that,
so many different emotions and feelings. They don't know what.
Not only that. Add to that the violation that they must feel. It's like being
disrespected,
right? It'd be just like being violated. These people are going, ripping them out of their box. They are being violated, these spirits. Okay?
Yeah, they are. They're being disrespected. That is what they're doing.
All they want to do is get back to their own astral plane. Okay, they got to leave this atmosphere. So they're going to do whatever it takes to build up the energy so they can escape and get free.
I'm sorry, but I'd do the same thing.
You know, and I would do the same damn thing.
I would.
No, it's not that they're demons.
No,
it's not disrespected souls that are tethered there because they wanted to have a tether to their family. But the family decided we're going to have a slave trade and we're going to sell them to somebody who wants them for their own purpose. Right?
Yeah, but that's wrong. That is wrong.
Right. But when you think about it, it's a slave trade. You're taking a spirit that is in the family. You're selling it to someone else so they can do whatever God they want to do to it, where they want to put it on display, make it dance in circles. They want to make it do stuff in their house, right?
Nada. I already spoke about this man, sweetheart, in the article that I've just done. I literally, the story and everything you're going on about is what I read out about Kevin Manis and things like that. Yeah, I read all of that out.
But anyway, that's my opinion on the boxes, on the two different boxes. There are Divi and Dybbuk.
Exactly.
Okay, the Dybbuk boxes are evil spirits that were trapped into an item.
And the Dybbuk boxes
was used by either
our normal spirits.
Right, which was used by either a rabbi or a shaman or a Celtic Druid or a witch or whatever to capture that evil spirit.
People with abilities and stuff
right.
That have those sort
they
of
captured boxes. They captured that evil spirit. They put it in a container. Then they took that and put it into the box so that it could never escape.
Yeah.
The point was to keep it away from humans. They put it in the box, the demon, so it would not escape.
There isn't.
So it would not escape.
Yeah.
Now those ones, when someone opens up one of those, oh my God, we're talking.
You're asking, but I've just said that to you. Like literally, anything from death to illness, everything can come over you. Curses.
Boom. You're done. You're done.
So much history on the. There isn't a lot of history on Divi Boxes. They're not very well known.
Right. But hey, how you doing, seamstress dear?
Hello, seamstress. How are you, darling? It is seamstress.
But that's the biggest problem. That's the biggest problem with because of the last 10 years, all of this stuff being presented and on TV and everything else. But a lot of the history of what really it's about has been forgotten over the years, right? And so a lot of it's gotten lost. A lot of it is just, you know, it's not that they're doing something bad. It's not that they're purposely trying to do terrible things, but they totally lost the concept of what the 2 boxes were for, right?
Yeah. They haven't remembered what the importance of them and the difference between them are.
Right. And if it's got doors on it, okay, it's not a true Dybbuk box. It's a Divi box, which is for human.
Yeah, Divi is the human spirit.
It's the human spirit, the human family, okay?
Yeah.
If it's got
And the
entitled,
Dybbuk box
if you can open the darn thing without having to use a hammer and a chisel, it's not a demon box, okay? You need a hammer and a chisel to open a demon box.
Oh, yeah, no, because there isn't no way of opening this. It's all sealed and closed in. And
yeah, there's no opening and closing doors on a demon box, okay? It's the solid box with acid salt inside. You need a chisel and hammer to break it, and you got to make sure you're wearing all protective gear, because if that shit gets on your skin, you're going to know about it. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
And the reason the buttery taste, the reason the Divi boxes have doors, think about it. It's so that the family spirit can visit the family. So if you have one in your house of your grandfather and you want your grandfather to visit, you simply open the doors, which
comes through,
calls grandfather, right? It says, grandfather, if you're around, please come for a visit.
They are like portals, aren't they, really?
Right. Grandfather, if you're around, come for a visit. So they open the door so grandfather can come visit. When the visit is open, they close the door. That's why they have doors.
The spirit world and where he's coming from. But with the other one, it don't. You have, like Pup said, you have to smash that open. And once you've smashed that open, you're asking for trouble. Okay,
no, you're asking grass.
To any of you guys, don't mess.
Yeah, your ass is grass. You open that. You know what? And here's the thing with the demon box: they might not go after you. Might go after your wife, your girlfriend, your husband, your cousins, your aunts, your uncles, your parents. They'll save you for last.
Yeah, and that's what I've noticed. And
you'll be the last.
They don't go for the obvious, do they? They go for the ones least expected first, then they go for the perpetrator.
Yeah, they work their way around the entire circle and then come back inward, right? So, yeah, don't open those boxes if they're sealed.
Because if you do it, okay, please don't sit there and think that if something's not happening to you, that it ain't going to happen. Because believe me, it will. It will catch up with you. It doesn't. It's
happening to someone else. Yeah, it's happening to someone else while you're sitting there saying nothing's happening.
Yeah,
it's happening to one of your relatives.
And it will come back to you. It will find you. It knows it was you. So don't play with them, guys. Seriously.
Yeah. And like I say, any box that opens is for visitation of a spirit, right?
Yeah, them ones are not so dangerous, but don't think about taking it.
Yeah, not if your family.
Just leave it where it is.
Yeah, if your family, right, and you open a box and say, grandfather, come visit, where's the danger? Of course, he's going to come in, visit. You guys, when he leaves, you say, okay, grandfather, I'm closing the door. So grandfather's not stuck in the house, right? Now, you take that same grandfather where the families abandoned him and tossed him away and sold him for $1,000 on eBay. And now some other jerk off has got him and thinks he's a demon and is calling him names and doing crazy shit to him and blessing the box and doing all this stuff to him. And then they open the box. You're not going to have a happy camper coming out of that box. You're going to have one pissed off spirit, right?
Yeah.
So that's basically, in my opinion, only. It's not written in stone. It's just from my own experiences. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I say, you know, I don't pretend to know everything, but from my experiences, that's the difference between the 2 boxes, and that's what they are. Okay. So
you've done this for 52 years, Pubs. I think you've seen a lot of things. So I think you would kind of know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? And Mittens, at the minute, my witch shop is not open because I am not in the right position with money to be able to open my shop up at the minute. So things are on hold. Just the way of life.
Nah, but anyway, the main difference, as far as I'm concerned, is one was actually made out of love.
Yeah.
And it was for family to be able to visit family. But after
love and memories.
Right. And after a few years have gone by, you know, they've got sold and given away and people don't give a crap about them no more. And now those spirits are so pissed off. It's pathetic, right? They just want to go back to where they belong. but they're tethered to that box, and somebody else owns it now who's not even family. And that's where the trouble starts.
Yeah.
You know, in my opinion.
Yeah. And it is, you know what I mean? Like, you know, the normal relative boxes and stuff like that, guys, you know, they are safe to be around if they're your own. But if you ever go into a place and you come across any of these sort of boxes and somebody says, oh, it's my relatives, would you like to open it? Don't. Okay, because it's not your relative, it's not your box to open. Okay, it's not down to you to do that. You leave it alone. Like, look at it, admire it, that's fine, but don't open it.
Yeah, if they're there and they open it and they invite it, feel free to communicate and talk and introduce yourself. You know,
it has to be them though, not you.
But they have to open it, and then they got to introduce you to them, right? So you're not some kind of a stranger trying to rip them off. You know.
So if you ever go to a place, if you're investigating, they go, would you like to open my auntie's Divi box? No, you open it, you introduce me, and then I'll communicate with her. You
don't want to.
You're just asking for trouble.
A true demon box you don't want to burn, okay? Because now you've released it. Basically, it's
you don't burn anything to do with demonics. You don't burn a Ouija board. You don't burn those boxes. You don't burn anything like that. All you're doing is releasing the energy and making them more powerful. So more for you.
Yeah. No, the ones put into there. No, you don't want to release them. Just leave them in the box. Leave them alone. They'll never do anything. You know, once they're there forever. Yeah, you could bury it so deep that no one will find it. You can do whatever, but you don't want to never burn, in my opinion only, okay? Never burn Ouija boards, never burn spirit boxes, never burn demon boxes. You know, a spirit box, if you
bury it. I wouldn't even bury it, Nada. I wouldn't even bury them either, because anyone can dig the ground up and find it and do something stupid with it. I don't agree in burning things or burying things. Like, there's a place in the time where these objects can go.
That's eventually they're all going to be out there anyway. So if you can bury, the way I look at it is this, that I've done this with a few items. I go out in the middle of a field somewhere that only me there. And I know I'll dig a great big, deep hole, and I'll bury the son of a gun. Because if I've kept it off of the face of the earth for 100 years, the next guy can do the same thing. You know what I mean? So that's my way of looking at it. Okay, it might not be the right way, but when it comes to demons, they never die anyway. So sooner or later they're going to get free anyway. But our job is to try not to let them in our lifetime.
Nada, if you've not got a demonic box or a family relative box, the best thing I can suggest to you is just not touch them, full stop, okay? You don't want to take any box from anybody else's house and put it in your attic. You don't, like me personally, I don't bury or burn anything, okay? Because there is still that opportunity and possibility of somebody finding it, okay? Right. That's how I look at it. And that's why I've got my Ouija board still, because I will not let that go into anyone else's hands.
And what if it's in your attic? That's actually a very smart question. If you have something that is negative
leave it
in your attic, and it's been there for 20 years, and it hasn't caused any problems, there's an old saying: "Do not poke the bear."
Yeah, right? Exactly, pups.
Leave it the hell alone.
In the house.
Don't do anything.
I thought he was going on about if he found one. Obviously, you don't want to find one and you don't want to bring it in your house. You know what I mean? But if you've got something that's already in your house and has been, like Pup said, for 20 odd years, and it's been in that attic, it's not harassed you, it's not upset you. Do you know what the best thing you can do is leave it be?
Yeah, don't poke it. Don't poke the bear. You know, don't poke the bear with a stick. Just leave the damn thing alone. That's
you're going to get bit.
Well, yeah, you don't want to mess with it. You know, just leave it there. If it's minding its business, so be it. You know, enjoy your stay.
Exactly.
That's right.
Get on with life.
Yeah, don't poke the bear. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just leave it the hell alone.
Exactly, Pops. And you would know, like, he's been in it for 52 years, guys. Like, he's seen many things and stuff like that. And, you know, sometimes just some things are just best left alone.
Right. I mean, so, if you have certain items in your attic that you want to get rid of, it's already
Well,
there.
I've got it in my attic and I want to get rid of it. LOL. What can I do? That's my question. What can I do?
Okay,
To get
well
rid of it?
then-
You would need to put it into a professional's hands, sweetheart. I wouldn't even put it under the ground. I wouldn't put it into water.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do any of that.
No. Like if it was something that you were doing for me, I would tell you we'd have to be talking, and I'd say, okay, take the white cloth, put the white cloth, put the item on the white cloth, put on the back, whatever, tie it up, and I'll seal it up real good and send it to me FedEx. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah. It needs to go to professionals. Don't bury it or anything. It needs to go to professionals. So don't just give it to anyone either. Bloody hell.
Right. And you really don't need to send it to me because I've got like 700 different.
You've got loads of objects, pups. I think you've got
God.
enough danger in your house already.
I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them all around different areas, put in safes underground and cement.
So what have you got, Nada? What are you saying you've got? You've got a box or you have got a board?
Hey, Anita, big hugs.
Hello, Anita, darling.
Anita, I noticed you were talking to me last time you were on here, but I had it on set on top chat instead of live chat, so I didn't see your comments. So I apologize for not answering you last time I saw you. But I didn't see your comments till I watched the rerun. Like I like to watch my daughter's stuff after I'm gone and after it's been up, so she gets the extra view. So I didn't even realize you were talking to me until I was watching the rerun. So I apologize for not answering you. It wasn't until later that I realized that you had even spoken. So
Nada, what have you got? Is it a board or is it a box?
Yeah, hand it over to someone that knows what they're doing with it. You know,
I
and
know what I'm doing
if
with
they're
it. I
there,
could do the blessings and the binding and stuff. Like
Yeah.
I could get
If
a box
they're
with glass and that and seal it.
yeah, if they're there, get them to bind it. Don't you touch it. You tell them if you want it, you got to come here. You got to bind it. Make sure it's bound before you even move it, and make sure that it never comes back to my house. You know, take it with you. You know, so it's got to be bound before it leaves your house, right? But yeah, just put someone who.
Ask you, can I message you a question? Is that to me or pups, Anita, darling? She wants to ask one of us a question, pups.
Yeah, either one of us.
Nada, get hold of me. Like, tell me about the box and stuff. Let me, or whatever it is you've got. Tell me if you've experienced anything. I need to know any history behind it, so I am made aware before it turns up.
Okay, Anita. Yeah, so send me a message on Facebook, I guess, and I'll get Astro to help you out with it.
You have a doll, belongs to a little girl, and drawn in bucket of water in their own backyard, and it's always wet. It's in my uncle's house, but I talked with him. I want to bring her to USA.
Yeah, you got to. You're gonna have to really double check what you're doing there. Okay, I got a call. I gotta go, sweetheart.
Okay, pups, love you. Thank you for coming up and talking.
Love you too. Cheerio, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Oh.
Oh. Yeah. A doll that is constantly wet is not a good sign. It does not sound good at all. You're saying you want to get rid of it, and now you're saying you want to take it to America. If you can get rid of her, that would be the best thing. But like you said, you need to have somebody that's going to be professional that can bind her and make sure that whatever energy is attached to her or whatever's going on with her is not going to be released. It would need to be done properly, rituals and everything on her. And she would need to have something ready to put her in. I've got dolls, but I can't say I've ever had a doll that's constantly wet. To me, that rings dangerous and demonic. If she's got the potential to be the next Robert Dole, you don't want to be taking that into any other plane, sweetheart. Not at all. The Robert Dole, if you know anything about it, is one of the most malicious and dangerous dolls going, along with Annabelle. And they are very, very negative, very dangerous. And you wouldn't want to put them into the care of anybody that doesn't know what they're doing. I would not even remove it from where you live into another area. Seriously, you need to get somebody professional to come in and cleanse it, bless it, ritual over it, all of that sort of stuff, so that she is properly bound and secured, and she needs to be put into some sort of casing or something. I definitely would not be moving her at all. I know, but aren't we trying to investigate on them? Yeah, I can understand you trying to investigate on them, and that's sweetheart. But the fact is if she's anything like the Robert Dole, she is not something to mess around with. Okay, so you don't want to be trying to find out what she's about. She will be rotten. Nada, definitely do not move her. Have you had anyone that's come in and maybe tried blessing over or done anything? If she's what you're saying, she's like the Annabelle or the Robert Dole. That's dangerous. If your doll is like Robert Dole and Annabelle, that's just that. Wow. Yeah, you don't just want to be moving her. Yeah, well, you've got lots of investigators here, but again, you know, with that sort of doll, I'd really have to look into that, because that's understandable. You know, there's people in all countries that don't believe in things. I am coming over to America at some point, and I'm wondering if I can find a storage place when I'm over there where I can take in haunted objects and keep them kept safe. I know a few people that work with haunted objects as well, and have things in their home. I could maybe talk to somebody to talk to them and see if they could do it. They know a lot of stuff about this sort of stuff. I do as well, but I wouldn't bring it over here. That'd be a long travel, and that if I, you know, when I get to America, I'd consider it, but it wouldn't be coming in the house. That's for sure. I'd get like an area, like a place where I can store all of the haunted objects and stuff. It's nuts. You definitely don't want something that's like a Robert Dahl hanging around you. She smells like coconut shampoo. Well, it's good that she smells like coconut shampoo, sweet, but if she's like Robert the Doll, she's not going to smell like that for long, is she? And if you was in one of the streams, Chad and Linda actually spoke about Annabelle the doll. And she's very, very negative and very dangerous. And Robert the doll's right up there with her. And if you're saying that this spirit doll that you've got is like them, not good. Most definitely don't put it into the hands of someone that don't know what they're doing. So the doll was in the water with the little girl then. So the little girl drowned and the doll was with her. So this doll's now took on the energy of this spirit girl. Was she murdered or did she die naturally in the drowning? Sweet, I understand haunted dolls because I've got 5 of them. Not like what you're saying. But what I'm trying to establish, is she negative or is she good? Because you're saying that she's constantly wet, which to me is not a good sign. Now you're saying that a little girl drowned with her in her hand. So is the little girl attached to this or has something else become attached to it?
What is going on?
And yeah, and it's like the doll is always in the motion of drowning. So it's replaying what she went through. So her energy is going into this doll and making this doll constantly wet because she obviously drowned. Okay. But you're saying that she will be as bad as the Robert doll or the Annabelle doll. So that to me says that she was murdered or something happened to her for her to be that way. Oh my. So she was neglected. So she didn't have a good life. Never anybody seen anything bad happen around the doll. Okay, so nothing bad happens around it. I have 5 haunted dolls. If she's not negative, but when you said she's like the Robert doll and the Annabelle doll, Robert doll and Annabelle dolls are not nice dolls, sweetheart.
No.
So they're completely different to what you're explaining. They are malevolent spirits in them dolls. They are things that have done bad things. Okay, so it's completely the opposite. Oh dear. Just the whole fact that this doll is constantly wet worries me though.
What was the doll? I missed the comments above, but was the doll with the young lady, the child, when she passed?
When the little girl died, she drowned.
So the doll was with her?
And the doll was in her hand when she drowned. That does not give any explanation to why this doll is constantly wet.
Reliving?
It's constantly though. It doesn't dry.
Yeah.
It's all the time.
My only guess to that could be the spirit of the little girl, if that was her favorite toy.
No, I said that she can have the potential to be like them. Well, if she's a good spirit and she's a little girl that died, she's not like Annabelle and Robert.
No.
Okay, she's just an innocent little child that has drowned, and her residual energy and what she's gone through is obviously played through the doll because the doll is her vessel and is one of her belongings. It's something that she very much loved.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but again, you do still have to be careful with these dolls because you don't know what she went through. You don't know how she acts and you don't know how she's feeling. Okay, so she could be different for different people. She died in a bucket of water. She fell into a bucket of water and she drowned.
Yeah.
That must have been a big bucket.
That's what I was thinking. A pail, 5-gallon bucket. You got to think if it was tall enough and she was young, then yeah, I'd see that.
So then they get stuck.
Oh yeah, it's quite simple to get stuck in a bucket if you're small enough to do it. Let me see if he says the her age.
No, it's like
No, I don't think he does. How old? Do you know how old the little girl was, Nada?
No,
No,
that was.
she was a very little girl, so she was
Mhm.
little. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the doll is like a miracle. Don't you think
Yeah.
it needs to be investigated or be in the hands of an expert? Yes, most definitely.
Yeah,
It does
of
need to
course.
be. It does need to be investigated, and it does need to be in the hands of somebody that works with dolls. You've got somebody
Mhm.
sitting right here.
Yeah.
I am here. I have 5 of them. All little girls.
Mhm. Yes, I do.
You know the bathing small bucket in
It's
your
a
backyard.
gray metal bathing bucket. We used
Oh,
to use
bless
it.
her.
Yeah.
So you've not felt anything negative from her, but we could very much try to investigate. I'd like you'd need to be able to get it over to me, sweet, or wait until I get into America.
Mhm.
If I'm over there, I'm near to my family, or I could get these guys to help me. We could all do an investigation on her. You've only touched and saw her once. Okay.
Twice. I only saw and
But
touched
my
the
uncle
doll.
wants to get rid of it. So your uncle's not feeling comfortable around him. But I'm afraid she'll take the whole plane and smash it on the ground. Why would she smash it on the ground?
You talking about the doll, the spirit of the doll?
If she's attached to this doll and she loves this doll, I can't see her wanting to smash it.
I don't either.
Yeah, no, and I understand that you're in a country where they don't believe in it, but still, we're not really getting to the subject here, are we? You're saying you want her to go into the hands of somebody that's professional and that can study in her. I'm saying I'm here, okay? I'm here, and I have dolls.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm trying to do is get some information and some background on her, because I won't just go and take on dolls without knowing about them, because I've never really been somebody that's been really open to dolls. I've really got to have a reason to be interested in them. Like my 5 girls, for instance, I love them and adore them because of what they are. And I could probably do the same for this little one, but I would not do it until I've had a picture and I can get a feeling from her and things like that. I need to be able to know that she's safe. Yeah. If you could get me a picture of the girl and a picture of the doll, that would be absolutely amazing. And that was the whole story. The family got destroyed when got back to the backyard and saw her. She's dead in the bucket. Why did the family get destroyed?
Was it emotionally or physically?
Are you saying that they were overcome with mourning and pain, or are you saying that they were killed? From what I am reading, what I read up the top, they weren't very much. They weren't very supportive of the little girl.
I read that passage. She wasn't really cared for and looked after.
No, so she's very, very vulnerable, like my little girl's here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think she'd be good here.
She might be, yeah. But you need to feel it out before you send her over, you know?
Oh, I know, babe.
Emotionally, yep. Of course they'd be upset. But, you know.
Of course, if they cared about her and stuff. But like I said to you, I will not allow her into my care till I have seen a picture of her, a picture of the little girl, and any of the history about her.
Gotta
and
have
any
background
experiences you may have had or somebody else may have had. You're saying nobody's experienced anything with us, so. But you're saying that you've noticed that the doll's constantly wet. So there is obviously some sort of phenomena going on.
I can't post it where if we had a friend in America or Turkey, I would have to post for them.
Well, you've got Linda here. You could send the picture to Linda and Linda could send it to me.
Yeah. We're definitely on Facebook. You can send it to us.
If you send her the picture and send her the picture of the girl and the doll. And that would need to be sent over.
No, we didn't say it's bad juju. We did not say that. Yeah.
I said it could be bad. I said it could be bad, Jojo, because you don't know very much about her.
Right.
Removing her may not be a good thing. That's why you may need the professional to go over there and get her.
Mm-hmm.
Until I get a picture of them and I can get a feel for them, I can't say if you're safe or not, Nada. You know what I mean? Until I get some understanding of her. But just how you was explaining it, that sounded very negative to me. So that's why I was saying, don't move her, don't do this, don't do that. But now you're saying she was just a little girl. She's, you've not had anything horrible happen. She's just wet. Send the pictures to Linda and Chad.
Yeah.
They send them to me, and then I can. You must be on Facebook or something, or have an email.
I can put my email in the chat. That way, if you want to send it through email.
Yeah, no, he don't want to burn it. No. Don't burn it, because then you're going to be hurting her. You know what I mean? That's her prized possession. Don't never, ever burn anything like that.
Nope.
No, and that's the thing. And people should know more about these sort of characters and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But it would be the worst thing you could do if your uncle burns her. No. She's a little girl. That is Linda and Chad's email address. If you can send the picture of the little girl and send the picture of the doll to them, they will send it to me. And then there's got to be a way that you can communicate with me. Yeah. If you've got email, this is my email. Do it to the company one. You can communicate with that after you've sent the pictures over to Chad and Linda.
Yeah.
Mm. Some people really do not have a clue.
No, I know. And I've only done
Yeah, a
research.
video as well. Anything.
Anything and everything helps.
I need to get as much information and detail on her as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but it don't matter if you can't see the water dripping, then it's only when you're feeling it. I just want to see the picture of her, of the doll, and of the little girl, because I pick up on things and stuff, and I would be able to look at it and know.
She can get the vibes off of it and get the feelings of it. Doesn't always need to show the water around it, or if it's feeling by touch.
And Aura will straight away let me know if she's all right or not.
Yeah.
She's not saying anything negative at the minute, so it's up to you. You can, send the pictures and that over to Chad and Linda, and the video, and I will see what I can get. I will 100% do it. Good. You've got the emails in the room. Yep, that's fine. A couple of days, that's fine. Just inform us when you're going to do it. For God's sake, don't just send the pictures and that. Make sure you inform us first, because then we can put candles and stuff on just in case.
Yeah.
I can even run a spirit box. Never did that before. You've not played with a spirit box before. I would probably not suggest you to do it then, if you're not really knowing what you're doing.
Familiar.
Especially when you don't really know that much about her and you don't really know what she's about. It's probably not a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Leave it to the professionals, dear. If she's safe.
Put it in the subject, sending picture of doll, so we know what it is.
It doesn't matter if she wasn't English or not. The thing is when you're in the spirit realm, you can speak all language, okay? She will understand what I am saying. Yeah, just inform Chad and Linda. They'll send it over to me. You get hold of me through my email as well, Nada, and just give me a rough description of her. What happened to the girl in detail, so that I know the right way to go around her and to work with her if I can. Maybe you're just not open to communicating through spirit box. It's not for everybody.
Mm-mm.
Yes, they can, Mittens, and they can speak English. They can. I know, but I guess with being spiritual and being open, it's a lot easier for them to communicate with us. And we have that understanding of the devices that we're using. We have the understanding of the spirits. We've built a relationship. We've built a reputation with them. You know what I mean? That's why we have a very good response. You know, even if you do decide to send this girl over and she's okay and you send her over to me and that, it doesn't mean she's going to communicate with me straight away. It takes time.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. Maybe it's the area that she's in. Maybe it's that. It could be a lot of reasons to why you can't get them to communicate with you, Nada. And you just have to keep being punctual and keep working. I've heard loads of people that have said they've done it for years and years and got nothing, and then suddenly can. Like I said to you, using things like crystals and stuff like that, opening yourself a little bit more will help you to communicate with the box and things like that as well. Candles, stuff like that, but you've got to make sure that you're protected.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, you can have all of that. If you came over to our division, Nada, we'd be able to learn you.
Yeah, we'd definitely be willing to teach a bunch of things. So you definitely could come over now instead of
Send that
waiting.
email. So that's all I've got to say on that subject. So we've spoke about the Ouija boards. We spoke about the Divi box. We're now talking about this young little lady that's connected to a doll. You know what you've got to do, Nada, to send the information over to Linda and Chad, and they'll send it to me, and we'll go from there. We'll keep you informed with what's going to go on with her and what we think should happen.
Mm-hmm.
I am your spiritual leader, sweetheart, and I'm very happy to learn you, and it would be very good in you doing that, coming into the company. You need to do the email, though, the email I've put in the room. Well, I hope so. I hope you're going to email me and want to do lots of investigations. Yeah. Going on about going to places where there's demons, I would maybe give that a little rest until you've been learned properly. But the doll, I'm definitely interested in. I just want to get some information and that on her. What I'm going to do anyway, guys, I hope that you have enjoyed the evening and you've enjoyed the talk and the show. We hope that we've brought you lots of educational facts about the Ouija boards and about the Divi box and the Divi box and the meanings and differences between them. We hope that you've been educated in the way that you wish to be educated. We will be back again. As I said to you guys, at the minute, there's a lot of stuff going on. The company is open, but there's not really a lot going on in it. People are busy. People have got extra hours in work. So at the minute, I'm going to be on the company. I'm going to be doing things, but we're not going to be focusing as much on that at the minute. Like, yeah, you can still do your courses, do your cases. There's still be messages and stuff put in there. I just think that at the minute, everybody needs to put their mind to what they're doing in their own life. And I need to be doing that as well as lining up for new shows as well. So I need all of the information to do with for the different streams, the new streams coming up. I need all of the list of the places and the areas so that I can get things into play. You're very welcome, Nada. That's what we're here to do. We're here to educate you, to learn you, to help you, to guide you. That is what we're supposed to do. You know, there is a problem with people. Yes, sometimes. We do. And it's very important to work together. And in our community and in our company, we do work together. Like I said, it'll be open. It's just we're not going to be, you know, cases and stuff at the minute. They're not really that busy. People are more focusing on the show side of stuff and getting things into play, bringing the ideas and stuff into the company to get it all up and running the way it needs to be. And I think that should be our main aim at the minute. People can still come over and have interviews and join us. You can still work on cases and stuff, like I said. But there's some aspects for the company that need to be focused on more at the minute. That's good. And we want people that are going to be dedicated to the company and, provide good footage and honest footage. That's what we want.
Yep.
So from us, we love you lots. Stay safe. Stay real. Remember that when you sleep, those spirits creep and they're always around you. Mm-hmm. Do not play with the boxes and with the Ouija boards if you do not know what you're doing. Okay? And just remember that we will see you real soon. If they're gonna always be busy, it's not gonna be very cute. But you're gonna see me always running till I hear from you. Nada, rest a little, you crazy potato head. We like hard working people, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you're more than welcome to come over. Any of you guys, you just got to send the email. Go over previous videos that we've done on both shows, on this channel and on the company channel, and you can get information on what you'll need to put in the emails. Instead of sitting on your hands and waiting, actually do it.
Yep.
And like I said, Nada, get in contact with Chad and Linda with the pictures and that, and they will get in contact with me, and I'll keep you posted. So from us, night, lots of love and light. Be safe.
Love you guys.
And we'll see you very soon. Right. Oh, I ain't gone off yet. Bye, guys.